What is up, everybody? This is Anthony with VR 365. What is going on? Today is Wednesday. It is May 15th, and it is 7:29 p.m. 7:29 p.m. Pacific time, and it is Wednesday, May 15th. What is going on, everybody? Yeah, so, a lot of people seem a bit shocked that this show is so late. But you know what? This is going to happen on occasion. This is absolutely going to happen because I had to get my car. I had to get an oil change for my car. And it's a process. It's not like a car that you just go to Jiffy Lube and get an oil change. It's a freaking Ferrari, y'all. No, it's not that. But it's these new cars that you buy nowadays. Does anybody know that, like, if you buy a brand new car nowadays, you can't take it to Jiffy Lube? Like, they've changed the way you do an oil change. First of all, don't go to Jiffy Lube in the first damn place. But what I'm saying is, if you get one of these new cars, and it's not a super new car, but it's like not 5 years old, right? And so if you take it, like they made it now where, like, you have to go to the dealership. Like, you have to go to an actual, like, you can't do it yourself. Like, they've changed the game basically to force you to have to take it to an actual dealership, and it's like a process, and you got to wait. And so I took my car to the dealership, and it was like a 2-hour ordeal. And then I got to eat dinner. So I'm not going to, like, race back home just to do this show. I got to eat dinner. So we're lucky this thing's starting at 7:30. This could easily be 8 p.m., 8:30, or something like that. But you know what? We've got a lot of stuff to get into today. We've got a lot of stuff that we can run through. We have a lot of stuff that we need to run through, basically, is what I'm talking about here. And so we need to go ahead and get the show on the road and get this thing started. So one of the things I'm going to do really quick, though, is let's go ahead and thank our sponsor. We do like to thank a Patreon supporter on a regular basis as the sponsor of our show. And the sponsor for today's episode 181 of VR 365. VR gaming news and discussion 365 odd days a year. And so our sponsor today is Avret. Avret is the Patreon supporter of the day. Much love. I appreciate it, Avret. Like, the support is huge because without your support, I'm at Burger King. I'm a shift manager at Burger King, all right? Without your support, no show. I return to civilian life, and I am a shift manager at Burger King. So would you like onions on that Whopper? Caramelized onions? Oh, we've got the Impossible Whopper for you guys. Yeah, that's probably what would happen. So it's good that we have a sponsor. It's good that we have Avret sponsoring this show because it will allow me to buy items of VR-related qualities, which then I can tell you whether something sucks, or whether something is really good, or whether something is kind of in between, and all of those other things. So that's what we're doing here, VR 365. Okay, so let me get my topics for today. I got to get the topics out. And let me get my chat over here on the side. So yeah, it's a West Coast party, y'all. It's a West Coast party. Or, I mean, maybe you're on the East Coast. It's pretty late. Del Wolfensparger, you're a shift manager for real? But yeah, so there might be some people on the East Coast. And then we got some crazy mofos that are like up hella late in the morning, like I'm not interviewing freaking Jason Rubin or something here. Nate Mitchell is not about to come on the line. I don't have any superstar that is about to come on for an interview. So go to sleep. Go to sleep, please. Please go to sleep. You people in the UK, or unless you're like waking up at the crack of dawn, maybe you're delivering newspapers. Maybe you're a newspaper delivery boy. Okay, go ahead and log into the show. You can do that. Okay, so the first thing we wanted to talk about here, guys, is we mentioned a little while back that Funktronic Labs, they tweeted out an image. In fact, I could probably go to the tweet window and maybe find that image. I don't know. I might have deleted it. Let's go to the tweet window and let's see. This will be a live check right here. That was a Jason Rubin tweet a little while back. But do I have that other tweet? No, I don't. No, we don't. We don't have that other tweet. Okay, so we'll go back over here. So that did not work out. Sorry about that. But Funktronic Labs, a while back, they tweeted out an image for a game. We didn't know what this game was, but it looked kind of like a garden or something. It looked very artsy-fartsy would be the way I would describe it. Well, you know what? We found out what the name of the game is today. We have a Steam page for it, and we have a brand new trailer. So why don't we go ahead and peep out this trailer, and we can talk about it. And this game is not too far away. It's coming in the very near term. So let's go ahead and check this puppy out, and we'll talk about it on the flip side when we come back off of this trailer. So let's go ahead and check it out. All right, well, that is Fuji. So that is what the game is. We didn't know what the name of the game was. We didn't really know what it was going to be like. And when you're watching the trailer right now, you're like, what? What's going on here? Those are some good graphics, man. Look at that forest. It almost looks real. This is like AR. This is like straight up Magic Leap, y'all. But basically, that's not really the game. And then, okay, bam, now we go ahead and see the game. Now, so the thing is, we do have a few details about this game. First of all, number one, it is coming on June 27th. So we don't have to wait a tremendous amount of time for this thing. We're already halfway through the month of May. June is just around the corner, and this is coming up at the very end of June. Also, we found out a price. This is going to be $15. The developers of this game is Funktronic Labs. These are the guys that did Cosmic Trip and Star Bear Taxi. So they've done a couple of VR games already. And the soundtrack is composed by French artist Norman Bambi, which I might be mispronouncing that. The music does seem pretty cool. And it's got an interesting style. Like, I'm looking at this visual style that's going on in this game, and I'm reminded of a couple of different games. I'm reminded of Paper Valley. Do you guys remember that game, Paper Valley, where you were throwing the paper airplanes? I'm kind of reminded of that a little bit. I'm also heavily reminded of Luna. Luna by Phenomena. Remember that game, Luna by Phenomena? Kind of reminds me of that as well. So this is that game, Fuji. Why don't we go ahead and check out the Steam page for this game, see what it looks like. So let's go ahead and bounce over here. Okay, this is the Steam page, and you can see it does arrive on June 27th. Funktronic Labs is a developer, and Fuji fully supports the Valve Index HMD and Valve Index controllers. It does fully support that, and the Valve Index is coming out right around that same time, supposedly anyways. So let's see what they say about this game here in terms of how they describe it. It says, a magical musical hike through lush chromatic VR wilderness. Bring dormant landscapes back to life by restoring native flora through light, water, and harmony, while collecting seeds to grow your own enchanted garden. Yeah, see, it reminds me a little bit of Paper Valley from the standpoint that if you guys ever played Paper Valley, it's the one game where you have like paper airplanes and you're kind of throwing these paper airplanes around. And it's kind of like black and white, or doesn't really have a lot of color. And then when you throw the paper airplane in the right spot, then bam, you know, some color starts showing up. But it also does remind me of Luna too. In fact, we can look up Luna. It'll probably show up here. Or maybe it won't. Is Luna not on Steam? Phenomena. Well, I don't know. Can you search developers like this? Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay. So, yeah, this was the game Luna, which also, interestingly enough, $15, which is the price of this one. And, yeah, Phenomena, Luna, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of this one. I think this one actually looks better purely just looking at like the page for it. But Fuji, you know, Cosmic Trip, a lot of people swear by Cosmic Trip. Starbear Taxi was kind of cool. This is a relatively low-cost game too at $15. And also, it is going to be on the Quest. I believe it's actually coming to the Quest on day one. I mean, not day one of the Quest, but it's like going to be available across all these platforms right away. So that is Fuji. It does look pretty cool. Okay, let's see. What is the next story I wanted to go to? So we're still in the Webby browser right here. Okay, so let's go to Upload VR, because the next story I wanted to get into is on Upload VR. And I'm going to scroll down here. And I wanted to talk really quick about the Vive Pro Eye. The Vive Pro Eye. Remember this? Yeah, remember a long time ago we found out about something called the Vive Cosmos, and we also found out about Vive Pro Eye. And for all this time, we've been wondering, when is anybody going to be able to buy this? Like, when can you actually buy this thing? What's going on here? So we found out that this is, let me see, the Vive Pro Eye is going to be launching in 25 different countries across the European region, I think in China and a couple of other places as well. But man, this puppy's going to be pretty pricey. Wait, does it say when this is coming out? I don't know that I saw when this is coming out. Oh, June. Okay, so is this coming out in June maybe? But looking at the price here, it is a bit of a sticker shock. We're talking about basically 1,500 British pounds. 1,500 British pounds, which translates to just under $2,000. And then it costs even more than that if you actually want to get the commercial license for this. And I'm trying to understand, like, what is this headset for exactly? I guess the one major feature that Vive Pro Eye does have is it has eye tracking. And it's really the only major VR headset of its type that does feature eye tracking. And the thing about eye tracking is basically, like, I don't know anybody that would buy this other than if you're in the commercial market and you have a very specific application that really requires eye tracking. for it to work properly. Then you go ahead and buy this. But other than that, I have no idea why anybody would pay this much money for this thing, other than they have a very specific use case scenario that requires eye tracking. They have to have something with eye tracking. Otherwise, why do you buy this? Because you could damn near get 2 Valve indexes for the same price. So that is the Vive Pro Eye. So it is going to be coming down the pipe. It is going to be coming out there. I don't think it makes a hell of a lot of sense. Foveated rendering obviously is a nice bonus as well, but I mean, we don't even know, like, do we know that like foveated rendering is actually going to work with this thing? I know conceivably it can work, I believe. But yeah, I just don't understand who this is being marketed to. I don't know who the consumer for this is, unless it's somebody like BMW or something. They have like some special kind of corporate app where they really, really want eye tracking, and then they need this headset. But that seems like such a specialized thing to release an entire headset and market it at such a tiny niche market. Or maybe like the Valve Index caught them off guard, the HP Reverb, all these other things kind of caught them off guard, and they didn't know that that was going to happen. But I don't know. Doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Okay, another story that we have that I didn't bring this up yesterday. I mentioned it for a quick second, and then I forgot about it. And I didn't talk about it yesterday, so I wanted to talk about it real quick, and that is Moss. Okay, so Moss is getting a new chapter. It is called Twilight Garden. I believe it's temporarily called Twilight Garden, or they're kind of saying that it's dubbed Twilight Garden, basically. And so this new chapter is going to hit the Oculus Quest version of Moss on launch day. So right on May 21st, next Tuesday, right? It's getting closer and closer and closer. Not very far away at all. But if you buy yourself an Oculus Quest on launch day, and let's say you've never played Moss before, and Moss is one of the big games you want to grab, then bam, you can go ahead and grab it, and you're going to be one of the first people on planet Earth to experience Twilight Garden. Now, how much of the thing is Twilight Garden? You know, how much of the game, or what are we going to get out of Twilight Garden? Not really sure. But you know what I did is I grabbed a number of images that are out there for Twilight Garden, made a quick little montage of it, so we can throw that on the screen right now. I believe these are some images from Twilight Garden. And so the thing about it is Moss is not a very long game in the first damn place. It's like 2 to 3 hours, maybe 4 hours if you get stuck on a number of puzzles. But it is a beautiful, enchanting kind of a game. And so this nice little extended bonus area is a nice touch. But it's probably going to be very short. We're probably talking like 15, 20 minutes, something like that for this. So it's probably not going to be a very long experience, Twilight Garden. Also, I'm not sure if you have to play. You might have to play through the entire game and then unlock this chapter. So I'm not sure exactly how it's going to unravel in terms of getting into Twilight Garden. But this is going to be coming to all the other platforms that Moss has already appeared on. It's going to be coming in June. And it is supposed to feature large environments, unique weapons, and a new realm of enemies and puzzles. So there's going to be enemies, there's going to be puzzles, weapons. So I don't know, maybe it might last 30 minutes. Heck, maybe it lasts 45 minutes. Who knows? But maybe they're trying to create a new reason for a lot of people to double dip. See, remember, Moss does not feature cross-buy. It's one of the 3 premier games, Superhot, Beat Saber, and Moss. None of those feature cross-buy. And so it's very possible that they've kind of added this on there to get a little bit of a bonus out of it in terms of trying to get people to possibly double dip. So that is Moss, and it's good news there. I'm looking forward to this, so that is pretty cool. Okay, another story, and it is Webby browser related. So let's go back. Actually, it's Upload VR related. And so there's this story right here, Rec Room. So Rec Room is going to be available for the Oculus Quest on day one. And this is pretty exciting because guess what? Rec Room is free. If you're willing to give up all your personal information and let them data mine the shit out of you. No, actually, I was listening to a Play PSVR podcast, the PlayStation podcast, with Alex and Adam. I was about to say Andy again. Alex and Adam, the Play PSVR podcast. And Alex was talking about Rec Room. And he's like, nah, I'm not down with Rec Room because they wanted to he has some monitoring program on his computer. And he was being data mined by Against Gravity. He's like, I'm not cool with that. So yeah, it is free, but you got to use an email. Now, here's the thing though. There's going to be a lot of missing modes that are not going to be included in Rec Room on Oculus Quest right at launch. And it's almost easier to say what's going to be included rather than saying what isn't going to be included because there's a lot of stuff that isn't going to be included. Okay, so number one, you can go into the dorm room, which is where you get to change your clothes and you get to make what your avatar looks like and you kind of get to screw around in there a little bit. You can go into the rec center. That's the place where you're going to be sexually assaulted. Okay, then you've got paintball. Okay, the classic paintball. And I remember way back when Rec Room first came out, I was playing paintball all the time and it was freaking awesome. I haven't really touched Rec Room since way back then, but that's when I touched it back when paintball was a big deal. But you got paintball, you got charades, you got dodgeball, and you got paddleball. All of that is going to be available on day one. Maker Room, which I don't even know what the hell this is, but I guess you can kind of make up your own rooms and stuff. Maker Room is also going to be available right from get-go. But Rec Royale, the Battle Royale feature that they have, not coming anytime soon, if ever. Now, Against Gravity, they're going to work hard. They're going to try to bring as much of the full experience of Rec Room to the Oculus Quest as humanly possible. But it's not as easy as it looks. Even though the graphics are incredibly simple in Rec Room, and you think it'd be so easy, there's a lot of stuff going on under the hood. It's not as easy as it looks, so no Rec Royale mode. Sorry for that. And then when it comes to the quests, there's only a couple of them that are going to be available. Golden Trophy and Jumbotron are going to come to the Quest. They're not going to be available on day one, but they are expected to arrive not too long after launch. So those will eventually arrive. Now, laser tag, disc golf, bowling, soccer, and capture point, all of those, Against Gravity is going to work on those, and they do want to bring those to the Quest, but you're not going to get them anytime soon. You're going to have to wait a little while for that. And Rec Royale, it almost sounded like they're not even going to try to bring Rec Royale eventually to Rec Room. But yeah, that is in the news as far as Rec Room. See, we're starting to find out about a lot of little details as we get closer and closer to the arrival of the Oculus Quest. We're going to start getting some of these finer details starting to come out over these next couple of days. And hopefully Oculus finally will update their store and have actual pages for all these games. I know I harp on that way too much, but I don't know. It bothers me for some reason. Okay, so one other thing we like to cover whenever we're talking about Oculus, we like to cover the daily deals. And you know what? Time is running out because this is one of our latest episodes ever. Man, I don't know. Has this even expired? Let's check it out. Here's the daily deal, folks. Gunheart. Gunheart is the daily deal, and you've got barely over 4 hours to grab Gunheart, and you can grab it for $15. Now, it does have a new price point. Like it recently, I don't know, about a month or so ago, it had a new price point of $20, so much more affordable than it's ever been. So came down quite a bit in price at $20. And then now on the daily deal, you get to save a 5 spot, which is not too bad because you know what? You could throw that 5 spot to PayPal. You could throw it my way. But you absolutely can throw that 5 spot my way if you want. But $15, not a bad deal for Gunheart. Remember, the developer of Gunheart is Drifter Entertainment. These are the guys that are bringing Robo Recall to the Quest. And one of the interesting things about that is as they get more experience with working on the Oculus Quest and trying to bring Robo Recall to the Oculus Quest, maybe Gunheart. Maybe Gunheart could be watered down and brought over to the Oculus Quest as well. Maybe Cross-Buy could be a possibility at some point. So here's an opportunity to grab it for $15. Gunheart is pretty fun. I like it. It reminds me of Halo. There's something about it that reminds me of Halo, especially the indoor areas of the game. There's some parts of it that are kind of weird. Like, really, my biggest problem with Gunheart is that when you shoot your guns at the bad guys, like, you don't get a visceral feel of your bullets hitting the bad guys. That was my biggest gripe with Gunheart. But the thing about this game is it has changed dramatically over the lifespan that this game has been available, especially if you're kind of like a single player guy like I am. I don't really care about multiplayer and co-op and all that stuff. And so if you're kind of like a single player guy, Gunheart was almost like completely redesigned in a way with a story and all this stuff that starts at the very beginning. It's kind of cool. I appreciate it. I like it. Okay, so that is Gunheart. Okay, so let's go back over here. And another topic that we didn't get into yesterday or the day before that I did want to get into, we ran out of time. I forgot about it. There is a new AR headset that is on the horizon, a new competitor to HoloLens and Magic Leap. So, of course, Lenovo as a company, let's give these guys some props. Lenovo is very, very active in the VR sector, and now they're getting involved in AR. And this is a good thing. This is a good thing, in my opinion, even though some of their products have been kind of crappy up to this point. But, it's nice that we have another competitor to HoloLens and Magic Leap, and it's starting to heat up a little bit. Now, I don't know that this is going to be much of a gaming platform. It seems like they're targeting this much more to enterprise, but they have a new product. It is called ThinkReality AR, and I got a trailer for this. Why don't we go ahead and check out the trailer? We can talk about it right after the trailer. I think it's relatively short. Let's go ahead and check out ThinkReality AR. Don't know that I'm a huge fan of that name. Kind of mediocre if you ask me. But let's go ahead and check out ThinkReality by Lenovo. Very busy beavers. Remember, these are the guys that made the Rift S pretty much. So let's see what they got here on the AR front.
Industry is at the dawn of a new age in immersive computing. Technology is challenging the physical world. The way we interact with our environment is changing. Work is transforming. We are enabling this third wave. Our advanced AR software tools empower engineers to create applications across industries to solve problems in ways that were previously unimaginable. And our next generation devices, combined with this software platform, are making this transformation happen in inconceivable ways. Are you ready to transform? Industry is at the dawn of a new age in immersive computing.
Okay, so yeah, this is ThinkReality.
Oops,
wait, I'm turning down the wrong volume button here. This is ThinkReality, and you know what? They have another trailer as well. It was much longer, and it had a guy talking a lot. And what I did was I grabbed that trailer and I removed all the footage of the guy talking and just have some kind of background scenes and stuff. And so, yeah, Lenovo has unveiled this new product. And so this product that they're actually showing right here, so ThinkReality is their entire lineup of AR products that they're going to get involved with. But the very first ThinkReality headset is called the ThinkReality A6. And you can see it on that guy's head right there. You can see it on some of these dummy models. And it's basically a straight up HoloLens Magic Leap type competitor. In fact, they actually have like a little thing that you have on your hip that has all the compute, the battery power, all of that. And so it says, you know, product assembly, equipment maintenance, real-time expert, quality assurance. So this really is being designed, it's not being designed for gaming. It's not being designed to play Dr. Gordborts or to play like that Street Fighter game that was on HoloLens or whatever. But the more of these headsets that start leaking out, what it's going to do is it's going to start pushing down the prices for all of these AR headsets. The competition is going to start to heat up a little bit, and it's going to start to get a little bit more interesting. So I kind of like this. I think it's a good thing. Now, one of the things we found out about this is it's very lightweight, 380 grams. So it's actually, I think it's more lightweight. That's the compute box, by the way. That is the compute box that I think you snap it to your hip, and then that little red cord. See, that guy's holding the compute box right there, and then it's got the cord that goes to the headset. And so 380 grams, not incredibly heavy. Unfortunately, the field of view, quite a bit smaller. It's smaller than HoloLens 2. It's smaller than Magic Leap. I think it's like a 40-degree field of view. So not tremendously smaller, but it is smaller. And one of the most interesting things I heard about this entire product is the guy was saying, we're not going to lock out other AR ecosystems. And he basically mentioned HoloLens by name. And so I think it's a possibility that if you wanted to run HoloLens apps on this device, you might be able to run HoloLens apps on this device. And so if this is way more cheaper than HoloLens, it's kind of a cool thing. Now, is this really something that we need to be concerned with from a gaming standpoint? Not really. But you know what? I like to look at this stuff because there's going to be a day where this is in the gaming space. There's going to be a day where there is a product that's like $700, a serious AR product that has gaming capabilities. And I like the fact that we're kind of getting a background knowledge of some of these devices. And when that day happens, we're going to have a little bit of a background idea of what these devices are all about. And so that's why I continue to want to cover these a little bit. But I don't want to spend that much time on it. So that's pretty much it. Okay, what else do we have going on? Well, we've got some additional trailers that are popping off. In fact, we have, I don't know what the price is on this. I did not find out at a price. You know what we could do? Let's go to the Webby browser. I might have a story. Do I have a story? Okay, yeah. See, Lenovo launches ThinkReality AR and VR headset for enterprises. It's basically a HoloLens competitor. Let's see if they say what the price is. It says there are two parts to the new ThinkReality system, the AR headset and the software platform. ThinkReality A6 is a comfortable 380-gram headset with two fisheye cameras on the front as well as depth sensors, 13-megapixel RGB sensor, microphones, yada, yada, yada. You do get one 3DOF controller. Untethered, the A6 can last up to 4 hours. The headset connects to an SSD size box that contains a Snapdragon 845, so it's running on a Snapdragon 845. By comparison, the HoloLens 2 uses a Snapdragon 850 and packs 2K MEMS displays. Now the A6 is offering a 40-degree diagonal field of view and 1080p resolution. You can wear the box on a belt clip or an armband, which should make it easy to move around. That is the little box. That's the pack right there. And it says, what makes the ThinkReality more than just a HoloLens wannabe is the software platform that Lenovo is launching alongside. The intention behind the software is to provide enterprises with the ability to create their own AR apps for situations like training or streamlining workflows in environments. And it says it wanted to leave the choice of operating systems up to businesses, so you could possibly use Microsoft's platform, which means you could actually use this potentially as a cheaper HoloLens. I'm not seeing a price anywhere, though. I don't see a price anywhere, so I don't know what the price is. Maybe they don't have like a release window yet or a price, so maybe it's just kind of a brand new deal, so we don't have that. Okay, but let's go ahead and go back over to our standard scene here. And so one other thing that is going on out there is we've got our first ever gameplay footage of Sorento VR running on the Oculus Quest. Let's go ahead and check that out. It is a very short trailer, but okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pump up this ThinkReality audio, and we're going to check out Sorento. Okay, so, oh no, this is the montage. That's why there's no volume. I was wondering, like, what's wrong with the volume? Okay, so let's go ahead and find Sorento for Oculus Rift and Quest. Okay, so yeah, that is Sorento VR Untethered. Now, the way I understand it, this is not going to be available on Tuesday. It's not going to come out right away with the launch of the Quest. This is coming a little bit later. We're looking at the visuals here, and obviously there is a bit of a downgrade. We can obviously see the downgrade. There's less polygons. There appears to be less numbers of enemies, possibly. It talks about new maps and stuff like that. So we'll have to see ultimately how this game plays out. You know, I mean, I've played this. Honestly, I haven't given this game enough of a chance. I played this pretty much one time for a couple of hours, and I thought it was okay, but I didn't really get into it. It's kind of a cross between like Super Hot and Raw Data would be kind of what I would call it. Sorento VR, and so this is the Oculus Quest version. As far as the graphics go, like just looking at the footage here, I think it looks pretty decent. I think it actually looks pretty decent. But yeah, we definitely don't see the same number of enemies on the screen, I don't think, in comparison to the PC VR version. But doesn't look too bad. And it's nice to see actual Oculus Quest footage. It's about time. Like, when are we going to start seeing legitimate Oculus Quest footage? You know, we're a few days out from the launch. The launch is not very far away at all, and we're still wondering when we're going to see a lot of footage of a lot of these other games. So it's nice to see legitimate footage from Sorento VR. Now, speaking of Oculus Quest footage, we've got some other Oculus Quest footage to get into really quick. We've got a little bit of footage of Orbus VR Reborn running on the Oculus Quest, and graphically, not a stunner. Definitely not a stunner. Let's go ahead and take a look at this Orbus VR Reborn on Oculus Quest. Let's go ahead and check this out. Okay, I'm not going to go ahead and full screen this because it's not really, I don't think it's like full screenable. So yeah, this is the footage right here, and as you can see, pretty freaking simplistic. You know, pretty friggin' simplistic, but what do you expect? It's an MMO. You know, it's an online VR MMO running on the Oculus Quest. This is going to be available on day one, and some people are probably really going to get into this and get really hyped on it. But yeah, graphically not tremendously stunning, to be sure. And it seems like there's a lot of developers out there that don't know how to make like a widescreen trailer out of their Oculus Quest footage yet. So instead, they're just giving us kind of gameplay videos out of it. Where we just saw Sorento VR. We've seen other games as well, other Oculus Quest games, where they've given us widescreen footage for the trailer, which, you know, is probably cropped and adjusted to try to make it look widescreen or whatever. But not the case here with Orbus Online, or Orbus VR Reborn. So yeah, graphics definitely quite simplistic, but you know, I don't know that I would have expected anything more. I mean, this is, you know, you got a lot of people that are going to be in these games at the same time. You're going to be talking to a lot of people, running around, battling monsters. So this still might be kind of cool. But yeah, the graphics, definitely not a graphically stunning game. But we've seen other stuff. We've seen other stuff on the Oculus Quest that look pretty good. So I don't, I wouldn't let something like this worry you in a major way. But yeah, that's Orbus VR Reborn. I was kind of curious, were they just going to call it Orbus VR on the Quest? But no, they are calling it Orbus VR Reborn on the Quest as well. So that footage is out there today. Let's see, what else do we got? Okay, so we got somebody talking there. Let's see. So we're going to go back over to the Webby browser because we have another story. It is Sony related, and it's related to their upcoming motion controllers for PlayStation VR 2, which we know is an absolute inevitability. Hopefully sooner rather than later, right? Okay, so here it is. Sony licenses advanced haptics. Here's what they did. They licensed a patent portfolio from Immersion Corp for advanced haptics for VR controllers. Now, it doesn't specifically state that these are going to be for PlayStation VR 2, but it's likely what's going to be here. So we're seeing, these are their designs. These are the patent designs. We've seen these a long time ago. It looks crazy funky, right? It almost looks like some type of karaoke mic or something. I don't know. It looks very silly. And then it has a little hand strap. And then it has sensors for your fingers, kind of like Knuckles. So it has sensors for the fingers. You got triggers. You got a lot of different buttons. It's got thumbsticks. Got a lot of stuff going on here. We've seen these drawings already. And this is kind of unrelated to that. But you know what's crazy? Immersion Corp. Do you guys remember? I'm pretty sure this is the exact same company. Do you guys remember back to the launch of PlayStation 3? You go all the way back to the year of our Lord, 2006. I believe it was 2006. Way back in 2006, we got PlayStation 3, right? Do you guys remember when you first got a PlayStation 3 back when it first came out? There was no rumble. None of the controllers had rumble. And they had people, like they had Sony representatives. I think it was Phil Harrison was like saying, we don't think rumble is next gen. Rumble is last gen. They got 6-axis. 6-axis, which is like the motion control of moving the controller around. That was next gen. Rumble is not next gen. They didn't have any rumble because they didn't pay for the patent from, I believe, Immersion Corp. I think this is the same company way back in 2006 that they didn't sign the agreement that everybody else did. Microsoft signed it. Nintendo signed it. See, these guys had a patent on rumble. And Sony didn't sign the deal. And they got hosed. And they didn't have rumble for the longest time because they didn't want to pay the money. And Immersion Corp was like screwing it to them real hard. And they were like, dude, we're not going to give you rumble unless you pay us a lot of money. And then we finally got rumble for PlayStation 3. I hated that. I hated that in the beginning, man. When it didn't have rumble, it sucked. Oh, dude, way back then, you had Sony fanboys that were freaking doing backflips. The Sony Defense Force, they were doing backflips. They were doing the splits. They were doing handstands to try to explain, to try to come up with some kind of spin cycle on why we don't need rumble and why rumble sucks anyways. They were doing that way back in do you guys remember that? I remember this. I was there right at the launch of PlayStation 3. I bought a PlayStation 3 the day it came out, and I hated the fact that it didn't have rumble. But then Sony finally signed the deal. They finally copped to it, and then we got the DualShock. What was it? I guess it was the DualShock 2, right? That was DualShock 2 for PlayStation 3. Was it DualShock 3? It was whatever. It was one of them, right? So they finally got rumble for PlayStation 3, but I'm pretty sure it's Immersion Corp. So here they are. They're signing another deal with them, and this is going to give them access to their patent portfolio. And Immersion Corp, it says the technology can be used to simulate sensations of pushing, pulling, grasping, and pulsing. And Sony basically says it enhances the sense of presence and immersion. Now, the current Move controllers do not include linear resistant actuators, which is something that we have on Oculus Touch controllers. We have them on HTC Vive controllers. They're even used in the Nintendo Switch. They offer lower latency and a finer control over the vibration frequency. So we're probably going to get that in these next generation PlayStation Move controllers. Now, when are we going to get a PlayStation VR 2? I personally believe probably November 2021. Yeah, it's a long ways away. It is a long ways away, which is kind of depressing, and I don't even really want to think about it when it's, because dude, 2021, you might as well be talking about 2050 as far as I'm concerned. That is a long ways away, so I can't get that hyped about it. I can't think about that too much. Okay, in other news, did you guys hear that the Persistence has a new version? It's coming in the summer. It is called the Persistence Complete Edition. And it says a free update bringing the Persistence to the big screen. Like, look at, if you go to YouTube, I'm going to go to YouTube. I'll show you guys real quick. Let's go YouTube. And oops, I'm zoomed way the hell out here. So let's get unzoomed. So we're going to go to YouTube and let's go to PlayStation. PlayStation.com. Okay, so we're going to go to PlayStation, the official PlayStation YouTube channel, and we're going to take a look at their videos. If I clicked on it right. Yeah, so here it is, the Persistence Complete Edition announced trailer. And see, I was looking at this, and at first I didn't know what it was. There's nothing VR about this. So this is not VR. Basically what it is they're bringing the Persistence to PlayStation 4 is basically what it is. So it is a flat version of the Persistence. But the thing that I found funny about this is this line right here. It says, a free update bringing the Persistence to the big screen. The big screen? More like bringing it to a small little window. You're not bringing it to the big screen. The big screen is VR. It's a screen that wraps around your entire perception. Like, there's no bigger screen you can get. That is the biggest of all screens. It's encapsulating your entire field of view. We like it to be, not quite, but I think having a VR headset is a bigger screen than anything else you're going to get. So no, they're not bringing the Persistence to the big screen. They're bringing the Persistence to a small external window. Okay, that's what they're doing. So I found that kind of funny. I just find this kind of funny. It is not the big screen. Please stop it with that. Okay, now let's go back to our standard scene real quick. Or actually, let's go back over here. Okay, guess what? We're not done with trailers. We've got another trailer. We've got another VR game announcement. And man, dude, I was telling you guys, we've got an avalanche of VR games that are going to be hitting us over the next 60 to 90 days. And it keeps getting worse. It's not getting better. It's getting worse. I mean, we just found out today about Fuji. We've been finding out about games like every other day, it seems. And we've got another game, this time a horror game. It is called Follia Dear Father, and it is by developer Real Game Machine, and the publisher is Destructive Creations. It is expected late this year, fall 2019. Why don't we go ahead and check out the trailer for that? So I'm going to pump up the sound on this Orbus VR Reborn for the Quest, and we're going to check out a new horror game trailer. So I'm going to pump this puppy up. And let's check out this new trailer.
Hey Marcus, it's Ryan. I received this weird email. It says something bad happened at the university where your parents work. I don't want to alarm you, but I would like to check it out. What do you say? Come on, get ready and I'll be at your place in a few.
Can't even show
Okay, so that is Follia Dear Father. And yeah, I don't know. Looks pretty freaking freaky. You know, when you've got things moving at you that quickly, Psycho style. And then when it actually gets to the graphics of the game, like if this is the real graphics, like if it really, really actually looks like that, that looks damn good. Like that looks really, really good. I have a feeling it's not going to actually look like that. But if it does look like that, sign me up. I'm down. I am straight up down. Although this game does look super freaky. And it almost looks a little bit like James Carpenter's The Thing. I mean, there's a lot of like weird piles of flesh. Oh, damn. I didn't notice that mouse that went right into that guy's mouth. You know, lots of weird. Look at this. Some nasty stuff. Like, look at that. Look at that pile of whatever the hell that is. That looked like it was straight out of The Thing. James Carpenter, The Thing. But yeah, if these are the real graphics, like if it actually looks like that, I am down by law. You know, I'm down to play this game on a nice HP reverb. It's going to look great. It is going to look great. Now, this guy right here, this weird sound that he makes, that was kind of weird. But yeah, so that is Follia Dear Father. And we can actually go check out the Steam page real quick. Let me grab the Steam page for that. Follia Dear Father. Okay, let's go ahead and check this out. So let's go over to the Webinal browser. And so here we are. This is Follia Dear Father, and it says the content requires the base game, Follia Dear Father, on Steam in order to play. And the release date we have is fall 2019. Developer is Real Game Machine. Publisher is Destructive Creations. And it says an engulfing VR experience. Immerse yourself completely in the horrors with virtual reality, available for HTC Vive. So what about all the other headsets? Okay, Marcus Pitt, a young man special only by the fact that both of his parents work at a university, is one day drawn into the horrors. Why would you be special? Because both of your parents work at a university. What's so special about that? Anyway, is drawn into the horrors that emerged at that very same campus. His journey to find his parents, or at least what remains of them, or at least what happened to them, takes him into his worst nightmare as he fights to find a way through while staying alive and sane. The place of education has been turned into a place of horror and death. You know, you could say a place of education already is horror and death. Okay, starting with just a handful of items to help him keep through the darkened corridors, Marcus has to summon all his strength to survive and keep on looking for his parents. Although it might already be too late, his hope to find them alive will be the last to die. Literally, as everyone else on the premise already seems to have been turned into a pile of gore. And they're not lying when they're talking about stuff being turned into a pile of gore. Now, I don't know, though, like, is this really the graphics, and then is it going to look anything like this in the VR headset? Or is it going to run at like 20 frames a second and it's always going to be in reprojection? Looks pretty good. I mean, it does look, visually looks really good. Like, that looks pretty cool. That looks really cool. I like the lighting and stuff. Looks pretty beautiful. Now, here's the thing. There's a flat version of this. There is a pancake version. This is the pancake page. And it's fall 2019 as well. I didn't know if maybe the pancake version would be out earlier and you'd have to wait for the VR version later. It says, we will publish the game in fall on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, and it will also feature a VR version for HTC Vive and PlayStation VR. I didn't know this. Do all the PlayStation VR people know that this is coming to PlayStation VR? Because that's right from the horse's mouth. A lot of times you go to the PSVR subreddit and everybody on the PSVR subreddit is always talking about all these games and they're assuming that they're all coming to PlayStation VR. And a lot of them aren't, or maybe they are, but it's going to be like years later. But this is a case where this really is coming to PlayStation VR. So Follia Dear Father, Destructive Creations is the publisher of this, and they do have the separate VR version. But basically, you do need the base game. This is downloadable content. You need the base. So, you know, I kind of wonder, is the VR version going to be delayed a little bit? Because why would they do this? Like, why would they have this separate version unless they just want to have this logo that says VR and they didn't want to do it for the other version? Not sure exactly why they have a special VR only version like this if it's going to arrive day and date. Okay, so that is Foliage Dear Father. Okay. So yeah, that does look pretty harsh. All right, so that is pretty much the main stuff we wanted to get into here. What we could do is we could check out some of the subreddits and see what's going on. I haven't checked them out recently. Let me go ahead and refresh this. So this is the Oculus Rift subreddit. It says Rift S and Quest shipping thread. Seems a little bit early for that. The struggle is real. Let's click on this one. Amazon delivery Tuesday, May 21st. Aw. Yeah, I don't know. I can't wait for this shit to come out and everybody. Oh, this is major news, guys. Major news. I forgot to write this down as one of the major stories of the day. Nostradamus Jr. on the money, baby. Because you know what? Over at VRGameRankings.com, see, the thing is, if we don't have an actual release date, we create one out of thin air. We do a guesstimate. We try to predict when games are coming out because we feel like, well, basically our system, we have a release date. We got to put something in there. So we do a prediction. We try to guesstimate when these things are coming out. And I've had Defector as a summer 2019 release, and you know what? I'm on the money, baby, because this is official. Defector is coming to Oculus Rift this summer. We do not have an exact date, but it is coming. This is Oculus Studios PR. Buckle up and hold on to your mugs. Defector is landing this summer on Oculus Rift. Stay tuned for exclusive teasers that showcase some absurdity and thrills from each level of the game. Join the Discord for more and direct access to the devs. Here's your lesson in how not to be stealthy. Okay, so yeah, it is coming. This guy says, I guess that means 21st of August. No, doesn't summer go all the way into like September? Summer goes deep into September. So this could be potentially a September game, I guess. But yeah, Defector, this is the first of the big exclusives for Oculus. You know, you got Asgard's Wrath, you got Stormland. Well, we still do have like Dead and Buried 2. We've got Dance Central. You got, a number of different games as well. But this is the first one where we've got kind of a release window at least. And so that is Defector. Oh, also, if any of you guys are grabbing a, if you're going to grab a Rift S, you might want to look into this PSVR Mantis earphones because apparently they do work pretty well with the Rift S. So if you're looking for more traditional headphones, and if you have a PlayStation VR, it's a double bonus because they're going to work on both. I believe Steve has these headphones, and he uses them for his PlayStation VR, and he says they're pretty decent. I don't know that they're quite as good as the headphones on like an actual Oculus Rift, but supposedly they are pretty decent. Okay, let's see what else is going on. If there are any other news that came out today, and I'm not really seeing too much else. Oculus Quest Vader Immortal Edition. Let's go ahead and check this out. I think somebody just made this. Like this is, yeah, that's a fan-made little deal there. Kind of funny. Okay, we could check the Vive subreddit real quick. Let's go ahead and check the Vive subreddit. Give it a real quick refresh. And yeah, so Vive Pro Eye launches today. Oh, so it launched today. See, I didn't get the actual day when it's going to be out. So this launched today in Europe. And damn near $2,000 US. That is batshit insane. Phaser Lock Studios, yeah, the final version of Final Assault is about to release. I love that game. It's a great game. But I don't really get caught up in like these final versions and all of that. I definitely don't get caught up in that at all. Beat Saber finally is leaving early access. The price is bouncing up. Like people were talking about that. Now, at the very, very end of our show yesterday, a lot of people wanted my reaction to the new price, the level editor and all that. You know, it's going to be $30 now. And I think it might be $30 on the Quest, which is a bit pricey. But you know what? I think it's perfectly fine. Like, I have no problem with this. It is simply supply and demand. It's simply supply and demand. People really, really, really like Beat Saber. People love this game. And so why not? If they feel like they can get $30 for every version of it, why not try to do it? So they're going to try to push it, and they're going to try to see if they can make that happen. Scientists created a display with pixels 1,000,000 times smaller than those on a smartphone. Okay, that sounds pretty cool if it can come to VR at some point. Let's check out PlayStation VR subreddit, because I hardly ever check this out anymore. Predator VR coming to PSVR? What the hell? Never heard of this. So I've never heard of this, but apparently we're getting a Predator VR game. Okay, interesting. But probably not much information on that. And I was just seeing if there's anything else that's going on. The Persistence Complete Edition is a free update coming soon that allows the game to be played outside of VR. Okay, yeah, we knew about that. And yeah, see, Follia Dear Father, interesting Italian project for VR, survival horror with a narrative core, and it is coming to PlayStation VR. So that is good news. It's not going to look anything like that trailer, though. There's no freaking way. But yeah, so anyway, that's some of the stuff that is going on. I need to bounce the hell out of here. It's late. This is called Late Night Hype, and I need to get out of Dodge. Alrighty, so let's see here. What am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead and grab my little outro logo, and I'm going to get the hell out of here. It's getting pretty late, and it's super late for any of you guys that are in any other kind of an area other than like Hawaii, or maybe if you're like in Australia. It's not very late over there. It's actually tomorrow in Australia. Okay, so that's going to go ahead and do it for this particular episode of VR 365 Live. I will be back tomorrow, tentatively scheduled for 2 p.m., but I might change that because I might get a haircut tomorrow. I might get out of work and go directly get my haircut, and I might not be able to we might be starting at like 3 p.m. tomorrow. So I don't know. It's going to be, I'm going to have to determine that on the fly. And it may be a shiz show because I may have no time to prepare for anything. So I might just have to completely wing it. But yeah, probably looking at getting a haircut tomorrow. So probably looking at about 3 p.m. All right, guys. Well, I got to bounce out of here. I got some stuff I got to do before I hit the sack. And I will see everybody tomorrow. So everybody have a wonderful Wednesday or possibly Thursday if you're already in Thursday. And I will check you guys out tomorrow. So have a good one. Take it easy. Later.